Today on this windy summer afternoon, we thought we would show you a few of the things growing in the garden that give a lot of color here at the late summer.
And the first one we want to show you is actually this really nice white perennial. It's called Pearly, and it has these really nice, almost looks like an egg with a dot of yellow there in the middle, and then white around. Flowers around July all the way to September. And it's also called evighedsblomst, like a forever flower, because you can have it in a bouquet. You can also really great for dry, for bouquets. It's also pretty. And it likes the full sun, gets a height around 60 centimeters here, likes a well-drained soil, but also very drought tolerant. And it's also liked by a lot of different insects, and it really gives a nice pop of color. Even also the foliage is a little bit funny because it's kind of like very dark green foliage, and it has a good height here next to the other perennials. And as I mentioned, it just has this color for a very long time. And it's nice in contrast to some of the other perennials that's kind of finished like early on in the summer. And it actually also gets like, it spreads really easily, and it comes up around, like even here next to some of the other perennials that's finished. They're easy kind of to pull up. See if I can get one here. See if I can pull it up, I think so. And then it kind of has these under the ground, it kind of runs over, and then it pokes up here, and then it gets a new one. But I don't mind having it in a big group here, but then you can easily take a spade and then move it away again. But this one is a really nice one. So right next to the Pearly we have one of my favorites here in the late summer here, and it's the yellow Rudbeckia here with the very dark center here and then the bright yellow around here. That's just started to flower now. We have a bunch that's still kind of coming now here. It's not opening yet, but it will be all yellow here, and they flower now from August all the way to September, and some of them all the way into October, which is really nice. Has around the same height, 60 80 centimeters height, likes the full sun, and also it's very important actually to have yellow perennials because it also gives a very pop of color here next to. You can also have them next to some purple perennials, which is really a great combination as well. It likes the well-drained soil and loves the full sun, and it will also over time spread and get wider, but you can also collect seeds if you want to have it more spaces, because it's nice to repeat this one throughout the different flower beds we have.
And this time of year, you'll notice here, if I pan up, you'll see quite a bit of yellow. This time of year, you get a lot of yellow, typically in some of these late summer perennials. So that's why, for example, the one we just talked about, this Pearly Everlasting, is just a nice contrast with all of this yellow.
And you could also have it next to like a Echinacea, like a pink one. We have that as well, and that's also a nice combination. But here it works really well close to the border where we can see it, and we then repeat it throughout in some of the other flower beds as well, because it gives really it brightens up. It almost looks like a little mini sun.
And right next to these wonderful whites and yellows, we have the Kniphofia. Look at this bright, oh thanks Lars.
Then it's better, right? In Danish we call it a raketblomst. It's also called like torch lily, fakkellilje, and also there's some actually a wasp, but insects really like it. Also bees go in there and really get attracted by that one. And it's kind of, some of them are finished, so we do deadhead when they're finished, because then they will come with new ones. And also it is a very special the Kniphofia here, but also with the foliage it has kind of spiky, so it's a nice contrast to the other two ones, the Pearly and the yellow Rudbeckia there. Loves the full sun here, so it's really a good combination here. And it gets the same height, around 60-70 centimeters tall. Loves full sun, well drained, a little bit sandy is also okay if you mix that in. And over time it'll also get bigger, and then if we can when this area is kind of gotten too big, we can take a spade and then divide it in autumn, and then it's easily placed in other areas as well, because this one is definitely one we want to have throughout. And since it flowers now, August and all the way into I would say September, because it keeps getting new flowers. So what we do when it's finished, we just cut it all the way down here, and then you can see there's just a bunch new ones coming, and it has a nice contrast from the kind of yellow, and then it goes into the more very bright orange up here.
And we bought this. We brought it into our garden. We got it at an after summer, end of summer sale at a local planting market. They were selling out of everything.
Yeah.
And they had one they had two, right? I think we got two.
Yeah, we got two.
They were really quite sad looking. We bought them for next to nothing, around probably 10 kroner, that's like $1.50 maybe US. Brought them home, and now it's really done well, and they just keep expanding. Our soil probably isn't as dry as they would prefer, but they're doing quite well. We did mix in some gravel when we first put them in, because these are quite drought tolerant plants, and we have a very wet climate, but they're looking good.
Yeah, that's true. And we have this variety. You can also get more like lime, almost a little bit brighter, like yellow, and more into the reddish color. So there's different kind of varieties you can get as well. But definitely one we like in the garden.
Passing by even more Rudbeckia as we come over to...
Ta-da! The Liatris over here that I found. It's kind of hiding a little bit under here, the big sister later on. But first the Liatris here, look at that. Really a nice shade of purple, I would say. Also the foliage is very funny, kind of spiky, looks like what you would find on a different planet. Well, the funny thing about Liatris is it actually flowers from the top and down compared to other flowers. Likes the full sun here, and it gets a height around 70 centimeters, and it also actually also have a very long flowering time from all the way from July, end of July, and then now some of them stand all the way until September. And even the seed pods we leave because they are really decorative as well. And you can also then, when they are all kind of mature, the seeds in here, you can also really easily get hundreds of more Liatris. And they are really, really pretty in a big clump. And then later on, you could also divide them if you want to. And just above here, the Echinacea also here that's started to flower. It gets a little bit taller, around 100 centimeter, 100 to 110, depending on how the soil is. Likes it well drained, flowers July all the way to September, even longer. And the flower here is really nice, kind of spiky, but really loved by the insects. None, of course, right now when we film, but when the sun is out, they're definitely really well visited and gets a good height. Sometimes I put a little bamboo sticks in just to stake, otherwise it's kind of okay in a big clump like this. And they also just really love the sun, like the Liatris here next to that one.
And I was just going to say, this one you can actually deadhead if you need to. You can follow it, for example, let's pretend that some of these guys are finished. So if this flower was finished, you can follow it all the way down until you see, for example, here you see the side shoot with its next little flower coming. So you can just clip it off there, as opposed to the Liatris, which you don't have to deadhead. When it finishes, that's really all you're getting. So you're getting this one long stem, bloop, and there's really nothing to do except just enjoy it. If you want to tidy up the garden, of course you can get rid of it, but it will keep coming back. We also have it in white, but I think Lars and I both agree that the purple is much prettier.
Yeah, and it's not as vibrant or like great at actually getting wider and producing more offspring. I think that one is a little bit better at that. Even the Echinacea here, you can collect seeds, and then you get a bunch more of that one if you don't want. Of course, you can also deadhead, because the main goal is to produce seeds, so it will, like the deadheading, like Alan says, then you get even more flowers. But now there was one coming. He didn't see you were filming.
But speaking about deadheading, that's one thing I was going to let you know. I only do it very, very, very rarely, because when this guy turns to seed, it's really quite pretty. The birds, they really love it. So it's quite nice for the garden. And it keeps flowering even if you don't deadhead it. This is going to come regardless. It kind of gets its one flowering. You may get a second flush because you're deadheading, but the chances of that, who knows? It could just be because it was going to get one anyway.
That's
so,
cool. But also like you said, like it's very decorative, not like taking all the seed heads away, because they are really nice during the winter and autumn when there's even frost or snow on it. So look at this Hestemünde or Monarda here, so sculptural. It's really a great perennial. Also that it's very, you can actually use the leaves here for tea if you want to do that. And the insects love it. And you can get them here. We have two shades of purple actually, which is doing really well. And likes the full sun here, and it's in a good group with other perennials that also thrive in the sun. Kind of well-drained soil here. Gets a height around a good 100 to 110 centimeters tall. Flowers from July and all the way to beginning of September, which is really great. We have some Echinacea, and then here in between here we have Agastache here. It's called Blue Fortune, and very smells like licorice, which we like here in Denmark a lot. Loved by the insects. Has the same height like the Monarda, around 110 centimeters tall. Loves the full sun. Also flowers started already July and then goes August and through September. And even the seed pods are very pretty as well. So a lot of perennials right here that you can really smell, and very scented, which is really nice. In the front that's just started to flower here, we have Asters with this also really beautiful yellow middle here, and then with the purple. Just started now here, actually a week or so ago in July, and then it runs all the way in August, which is nice. Has the same height, around 90 to 100 centimeters tall, likes full sun. And you can also collect seeds of this one, and this is a great one. The Asters in general having to give a pop of color out in the garden. So that one is a nice one.
Especially compared to all the yellows that we talked about earlier. Look at this. You have the blues,
Yeah.
you have different shades of purples and pinks. It's a really nice looking corner over here, Lars.
But I would also say that, I know this is doesn't flower now, but also that if you have something, of course it's a flower, but also looking into like the foliage, always remember that you have some kind of perennial or bushes that really gives a pop of color, that really, I think, embraces even these colors, because that drives your eyes to a different kind, like this 9-bark. I know it's a bush, but really nice, and it really embraces all these different colors really nicely, I think.
Here is a really special looking one. If you can see, there you go, look at it. Oh, wispy, this verbena with its purple. We were growing it in our dahlias this year here in the middle. Wow, it's windy. It can also withstand strong winds.
It is really nice, really tall. We call it Kæmpe verbena, like giant verbena, and it's really doing nice. In our area here in Denmark, it's actually more recognized as an annual, but it has a tendency to come back if the winter's very mild, which we have now. But it's also a great at self-sowing. Everywhere you can do cuttings of it, so it's really nice and easy to propagate actually. Loved by the insects. Flowered already a few weeks ago in July, then it runs all the way to August, September, and even the seed pods are really decorative. If you don't want it to have babies everywhere, like on the stones, everywhere around here, then you have to just like cut it back. But we don't cut it back to the ground this winter. We do it in spring, because then it grows from the base again. You don't want to have it. You want to have these stems so it protects over the winter, and then it will grow again from the base, and then you can cut it and do some cuttings if you wanted. But it's loves the full sun here, and it's actually doesn't need any staking, but it's really tied up really nice with our summer flowers, our dahlias here, and it's gives a pop of color, and all the insects really just come to this tower here.
Exactly, and we have it in a few more places.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll try to show you if the rain holds off in just a second. Here's another place in the middle of the middle flower bed. We also have 2-3 plants, and this one hasn't done as well with the wind, but fortunately we have these Heliums that are holding it up. What else we got, Lars? We got one of your favorites, everybody's favorite. Look at this.
Again, with dark foliage, what's not to like about that? But here it's called the Dwarf Burning Heart. Really, really nice. Has very, it's very tall. Actually, doesn't need a lot. I put a little bit of bamboo sticks around, some sticks, just in case because sometimes when the wind comes, it can. But most of it doesn't need any staking. Just a tiny bit here, because it's actually very, very tall. Flowers in the beginning of July all the way to September, and it's just really nice with its this. You can get a variety also that's more orange, but this with a reddish orange and then turning out to the fades out to the yellow is really pretty. Likes the full sun, can also be a half shade actually, and also liked by the insects. You can easily divide it, but also really easily propagate it by sowing it from seeds actually. So that's a nice one.
And this is one that we do deadhead. I think the flower I just showed you a while ago was not, wow, it's windy. It's always windy. So this one, for example, is one we would get rid of. So you can just pop that head off. If I had my scissors, I would cut it all the way down to the base, and then it would just keep on coming with more and more flowers.
Another great favorite here is solbrud Helenium. You can get it in burnt orange over to the mix of yellows and bright yellow, and that's a really nice flower here. Flowers actually from it started back in July, goes all the way into end of August, which is really nice. Insects really like it, and it just keeps getting new flower buds here. Likes the full sun, and it has a very good height, just like the Echinacea next to it. Around this one is around 120 tall, and it's really thrives here in a rich, nutritious soil. That one gives so much pop of color. But another one I want to show you is over here next to another solbrud, actually, just which I just mentioned is just more clear yellow. Also just liked by all the insects here that just fly around. So that one is a little bit lower than this Eupatorium here that's just about to opening up. And this is just a bee magnet and for the butterflies. And it's just about to start here in August all the way to September and in October. Doesn't need any staking. You can easily collect seeds of it. Can be in full sun or half shade. And it's as tall as me, 182. So that I would say is the same size. And also has really great foliage, great leaves. Big actually,
yeah, the stem
and it's a
is
nice,
really nice too. Look at this.
It's kind of very dark actually,
really
so that
nice
gives a
with the 9 bark there. The stem is quite similar,
and it's just nice with compared to the Helenium, a little bit lower, but very that gives very like a towering perennial here that you can kind of still look through the rest of the garden, which is really nice.
We also have a smaller variety.
Yes, just behind you.
It's right behind me.
Called Baby Joe.
Look at little baby
so
Joe.
So that's still has the same, the same things like the other Eupatorium has the stems here, but much smaller. Kind of a little bit more purple, a little warmer color here. But the foliage is also really nice, but doesn't have that really tall stems like the other one. So that's actually a bit closer to the border here where it just pops up. And so I also collected seed last year, and I definitely have a bit more that's coming, which is nice because it does give, with the dark stems and the flower now, a nice pop of color here now.
And you can see when we say that something doesn't need staking, you can see living right here on the coast, things do get battered by this wind. So it is nice when something is strong enough, or like this Heliopsis is strong enough to handle the wind. So there you go. This isn't everything that's flowering. We'll be sure to take a garden tour here at the end of summer. But as you can see, there's still a lot of color. Even though the sun is not really cooperating with us today, we hope that you still enjoyed and maybe find some inspiration for what you can plant to bring some color into your late summer garden. So thanks so much for watching.